We're in the Aviva and Jack Robinson Decorative Arts Galleries, and I'm here today to talk primarily about glass. Jack and Aviva are nationally and internationally recognized collectors of glass, and in 1995 they had an opportunity to make a significant gift and wanted to make that gift to the people in the city of Detroit, and also to set an example for philanthropy here. Jack and Aviva offered us their entire glass collection, which at the time had over 120 objects in it. The museum officials had conversations with them, the director and people in the development department, and in the end, their gift was not only the objects, the glass objects, some of which we'll talk about, but also they endowed 2 galleries, sponsored an exhibition, and sponsored a catalog and endowed the maintenance and care of their glass collection, which includes storage formats and a space in the basement. We're very thankful to people like Jack and Aviva Robinson for their generosity. The Robinsons' gift of over 120 pieces of glass made a significant difference to the DIA and how we represented the decorative arts. A gift of that size put the DIA among a small group of public institutions that have a major collection of glass. Now, in our galleries, we feature not only glass as a decorative arts, but we also feature ceramics, basketry, jewelry, textiles, and wood. I'd like to talk to you, though, a little bit about the Robinsons' gift and show you a couple of the pieces. We're looking at Dale Chihuly's vessel, Cadmium Red Light Venetian. And this is made by the great master in America, Dale Chihuly. Now, he studied glass. What's really important about his study of glass is that he went to Venice. And Venice is the city in the Western world most associated with glass making. Chihuly studied glass there and he studied the techniques. Let's take a closer look. You'll notice that this edge is made out of a beautiful striped piece of glass that has orange, yellow, and clear glass in it. That particular type of glass, where there are stripes of colors that are pulled out into a glass ring that's fused onto the vessel itself, is a technique that we associate with Venice itself. In addition, you have these horns of glass that are coming out. And that is also a Venetian technique, where glass is gathered at the end of a hot metal pole, and while it's still molten and hot, it's pulled out into this horn shape. The body of this vessel itself is quite beautiful, and you'll notice that there are very, very fine bubbles, or puliguzzi, in this. It's a type of glass that was invented in Venice and was for a long time unique to Venice. Now, may I just take a moment to talk a little bit about Venice, because it's such an important place for glass. And the reason I want to point this out is that since the 13th century, on the island of Murano, all the glass works that are of what we consider Venetian glass are on that island. And the industry has been very carefully regulated, and so that the Venetians were the only people in the Western world who knew how to make glass for several hundred years. Of course, the Venetians are also great merchants, and they learned this from their trade with the rest of the Middle East. In contrast to the work of Dale Chihuly, an artist like David Huchthausen uses glass in a very different way. You'll notice that this object is very hard and polished, and he's using some of the properties of glass that have to do with its ability to reflect light and to magnify. You'll notice this oculus within the piece itself, how that cutting the glass changes its magnification and changes what it sees. So in fact, it collects a much larger image and focuses it into that area. Along the edges here are brightly colored pieces of glass, and those are actually fused or glued together in a highly specialized technique where the colored glass is cut into particular shapes and then glued or fused together and eventually fused onto this larger piece of very, very fine, clear glass. These are 2 different ways that artists work. That is the very organic way that Dale Chihuly has worked. He is blowing glass and working with molten glass and forming it, and you see that in the very liquid shapes of the horns and how the color navigates around the top lip. And that's in contrast to what David Hutchhausen is doing, which he's working with, it's called cold work. And in fact, he's working with glass that is cut and very highly polished.